Welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to completely flip how you look at the world around you. We're tearing down the invisible walls to reveal the unseen forces of influence that surround us, literally every single day. We are looking at the architecture of influence itself. So get ready, because what you're about to learn, it's going to change how you navigate every single conversation, every purchase you make, and every mindless scroll on your phone.
So let's just jump right in and ask a pretty provocative question. Are you being manipulated right now? Now, I know that sounds like something straight out of a spy movie, right? But I want you to seriously rethink your daily interactions, both digital and face-to-face. From that little notification ding in your pocket to the exact specific phrasing of an email from your boss, influence is absolutely happening. But is it just harmless persuasion, or is it something kinda darker? Well, let's find out.
Section 1. Unmasking dark psychology.
To really wrap our heads around these forces, we've got to peel back the layers and ground ourselves in the actual facts. Dark psychology is officially defined as the study of how people use manipulation, influence, persuasion, emotional control, and mental tactics to control others for personal gain. It's a systematic framework, and it specifically targets universal human weaknesses. We're talking about our deepest fears, our hidden desires, and our total, desperate need for attention. And listen, this isn't just happening in shady, dark alleyways. No, it is happening in mainstream marketing, everyday politics, business leadership, and yeah, even in our closest personal relationships.
Now, we really need to clear up a massive myth here. People often think of this as some kind of mystical mind reading or, magic. It's not even close. In reality, it is simply the applied science of human emotions and subconscious patterns. And that's an absolutely crucial truth to grasp. People use these exact techniques every single day. Sometimes they know exactly what they're doing, and sometimes they're doing it completely unknowingly.
Section 2. The 5 pillars of influence.
So how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, it all comes down to 5 main pillars, starting with manipulation tactics. This whole pillar is all about covert control. Tactics like guilt tripping, emotional pressure, the dreaded silent treatment, fake kindness, and gaslighting. They all share one ultimate goal: controlling someone's emotions without them even realizing it's happening. The primary objective here is to make people doubt themselves. Because think about it, when you doubt your own reality, you become incredibly easy to steer.
Moving on to Pillar 2, persuasion. Now, while manipulation is usually sneaky and covert, persuasion is the active, out-in-the-open ability to shape thoughts and actions. This one is built heavily on confidence, repetition, storytelling, emotional language, and social proof. And hey, if those sound super familiar, it's because they're literally the heavy fuel behind the advertising you see, the sales pitches you hear, political campaigns, and all that viral content you end up sharing. It's basically persuasion operating at scale.
Then we have our third pillar, which is body language psychology. Our bodies are constantly spilling our hidden emotions, often completely betraying what our words are trying to cover up. Just notice how intense eye contact signals pure confidence or dominance, right? While crossed arms instantly scream defensiveness. Fast blinking? A dead giveaway for nervousness. But on the flip side, slow, deliberate movements project an incredible sense of control and power. The simple fact is, we frequently communicate way more through these physical cues than we ever do through actual words.
Okay, Pillar 4 brings us to something quite a bit more intense: the psychological control cycle. This is exactly how emotional dominators operate. Step 1 is love bombing, just completely showering someone with attention to hook them in. But then, Step 2 pivots abruptly to isolation and the creation of fear. Finally, Step 3 hits, withdrawing all that initial attention to forge a deep, deep emotional dependency. This vicious cycle creates profound psychological attachment and hands the manipulator immense emotional control.
And wrapping up the pillars, we have number 5, the psychology of power. Truly powerful individuals don't just sit around and guess at human behavior, they actively study it. They study our desires, our fears, our egos, and our attention. By totally mastering these core internal drives, they learn exactly how to control conversations, influence massive crowds, gain unwavering loyalty, and honestly create undeniable, rock-solid authority.
Section 3, the digital mind game.
Now, here's where things get really wild. These tactics aren't just human to human anymore. They are quite literally hardwired into our digital algorithms. But before we get into the apps and platforms, I want you to take a second and reflect on your own vulnerabilities. Loneliness, fear, the desire for attention, the need for approval, emotional insecurity, curiosity, greed. Just be honest with yourself for a second.
Which of these hits you the hardest? Because let me tell you, these are the exact specific buttons that digital systems are specifically designed to push.
And those exact buttons, they get pushed every single time you open an app on your phone. Social media tactics are deliberately engineered to keep you hooked by exploiting those very weaknesses. Just think about infinite scrolling. Back in the day, a newspaper physically ended. A TV show had closing credits. There was a natural finish line. Now, infinite scrolling removes those natural stopping cues, which means your brain literally never gets the signal to say, okay, I'm done. Throw in dopamine-triggering notifications and highly emotional content that sparks outrage or intense joy, and you've got a flawless recipe for pure, unadulterated attention addiction.
And hey, it's not just social media either. It's everywhere in e-commerce too. Limited time offer, only 2 left in stock. Think back for a minute. When was the very last time you bought something solely because of FOMO, the fear of missing out, or because of some artificial, emotionally driven deadline? We've all been there. Companies intentionally use these exact emotional triggers to entirely bypass your logical, thinking brain and influence your buying decisions right there in the heat of the moment.
Now, the future of all this takes us to something even bigger: dark psychology combined with AI. Artificial intelligence can now analyze human emotions, map out your personal attention patterns, predict your behavior, and basically decode your buying psychology at a scale humans never ever could. The end result? A perfectly optimized, incredibly powerful machine for business. It is behavioral prediction turned into an exact, undeniable science. Which actually brings up a totally fascinating meta point. Why does content about dark psychology go viral so frequently on platforms like YouTube and TikTok? Well, because it feels mysterious. It reveals these hidden truths we all suspect are there. It helps people finally understand human behavior, improves their daily awareness, and fundamentally, it makes people feel powerful. The very psychology we are analyzing right now is the exact same force that draws millions of viewers to watch explainers exactly like this one.
Section 4. Building your psychological armor. All right, now that we truly understand how these forces work, both in person and on our screens, it is time to build up your defense. The absolutely crucial point here is knowing how to spot the red flags in your own life. Manipulative people will frequently try to make you feel guilty. They'll twist your own words against you. They constantly dodge responsibility and play the victim. They try to emotionally confuse you, and they love to exert control through fear or the silent treatment. Recognizing these signs, that is your absolute first and strongest line of defense.
And that brings us to the real, true purpose of learning about dark psychology. Let me be clear. The goal should absolutely never be to manipulate other people. No, the true power lies in understanding human behavior so you can effectively protect yourself from being manipulated. It's all about becoming highly emotionally intelligent, dramatically improving your own communication skills, and building deep, unshakable confidence and situational awareness.
To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this final, incredibly powerful quote from our source text. The most dangerous person is not the strongest one. It is the person who understands the human mind. I really want you to ponder the profound power of psychological awareness, because when you finally understand the mind, you start seeing the invisible strings of influence everywhere you look, and much more importantly, you learn exactly how to stop other people from pulling yours. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Stay aware out there and never stop learning.